introduce to you two young women that I would love to be my daughters.
Aww. That's so sweet. Thank you. That is so sweet.
It has been so wonderful to work with Devon as the technology coordinator for this project. She has breathed a whole new kind of life into the project in terms of what opportunities can be opened up using technology. And what I love about Devon too is that she always brings it back to purpose, what do we want to do, and to the authentic relationships. So she's so rooted in that, and it's been a joy to work with her because she sees what is possible that that many of us of my generation haven't seen. So that's been awesome. And of course Tashi too, who's one of our team members from Delta. Incredible energy and incredible passion for mentorship. And together they told me they're here to prove to us that you can do authentic collaboration, really authentic collaboration, without meeting face to face, and they're here to prove it. So here they go.
Thank you. So hopefully we do prove it.
Yeah,
we don't fall on our faces. We'll do good. All right, technology. We're going to start out with a little activity for you. Technology has a lot of emotions around it, and I think sometimes we don't explicitly address that. So what we would like you to do at your tables is to take a second and think to yourself, if you had to describe what emotions you have for technology in one word, what would it be? Just think about it for a sec. How do you feel about technology? Motion word.
Only one word.
No cheating, guys. So now that you've had a second, I'd like you to share that at your table in a quick whip around, and all you can say is the word. No context, okay? Ready? Go, share.
Ooh,
Good job, good job. All right, I'm going to pause you there because I know some of you are starting to be tempted to explain. Guilty over there, aren't you? No, you were good? Yeah, I know what you're up to. All right. What I would like you now to do is quickly choose one person who will stand up and share out at your table 3 words that were shared at your table. So choose one person at the table to share to the group 3 of the words that were shared. Think about it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Share outers, please stand up on your feet. Up, 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 up. Stand, stand, stand. Back table. Oh, voluntold, right? We got?
Love, hate,
Slash.
Then exciting, trepidatious. It's a new word.
Oh, I'm just going to have you come a little closer and say that right into the...
Exciting, trepidatious.
Teachers always break the rules.
And aren't we supposed to be enforcing them? Yeah. Excellent, you guys. Thank you so much. It's amazing when you actually think about all those different words out there and emotions. We cannot forget how emotional technology is when we're working with it ourselves or when we're working with other people who are working with it. I did want to just ask, quick show of hands, who considers them somewhat addicted to some form of technology? Reach high, take a look around.
Wow.
So next time you're talking about teenagers these days, I'm just saying. All right, so something Tashi and I were talking about when we were thinking about what we really wanted to get across in the hour we have is that technology can be fun, okay? Play-based learning applies to technology. We want to encourage you just to get out there, muck around, and play with it. Have fun. Push back on that feeling of intimidation. I might muck it up. I don't know what's going on. It might come across, I don't know what's going on. Does somebody else know what's happening? No, none of us do. Just play with it. Have fun. Play-based learning applies to technology. And what we find is one of the biggest challenges is not capacity. It's emotion, right? That fear of it, the fear of being seen not to know what's going on, or also wrecking something. You're likely not going to wreck anything. If you do, you can fix it. So just start pushing buttons. Disclaimer, I'm not responsible for anything that might happen out of that. It's like, if it's a big red button, maybe hesitate. But, all right. So, let me see. I just figured out how to use my phone as a remote control. So, I'm just so impressed with myself. There we go. There we go. So, our question that's going to ground what we're doing today is how can we use technology to enhance mentoring in our school districts? Enhance is a deliberate verb, so just take a second and let that wash over you. It was chosen deliberately by both of us. Okay? Enhance. One thing we find when people are considering technology, often they get lost in the tools. What has to come first is the purpose, right? A lot of that sense of urgency, fear, overwhelmness, if that's a word, since we're making them up, intimidation, often happens when you just think of everything that's out there and you're just too much. Stop, go back to your purpose. Because unless you're very unique, odds are you're not out in the hardware shop just buying stuff for the fun of it. You'd only buy something if you're going to do something with it, right? No one ever bought a drill who actually just bought it because they wanted the drill. They actually wanted a hole. And they asked themselves, what would help me make a hole? And then they went from there, okay? Takes a lot of that urgency and freak outness out of it. All right. Tashi, did you want to add on?
Sure. And just to add on to that and to bring it back to a context that a lot of us might be more comfortable with, it's just like teaching, right? In your classroom, you don't start with, the activity that you're going to do. The place that you start is what do you want your students to learn? What is the purpose? What is the point? So when we're using technology in mentoring or in anything, we need to keep in mind, what is the purpose? What am I trying to achieve? And who's my audience? Who is this for? So, don't get hung up on the tool. The tool is just a way to achieve what you would like to achieve. And we'll talk about what we're hoping to achieve today with our learning intentions. So we want you to be able to identify need, purpose, and target audience when you're looking at using technology to enhance mentorship in your work. We want you to be able to evaluate your current use of technology. Is there anyone in here who would say that they don't use any technology in their work?
You can be honest. We won't. It's okay.
Yeah. No, we won't mock you. Only privately later. Okay. And then, of course, we want to collaborate and learn from each other. Devon and I went through these learning intentions ourselves, learning from each other, evaluating our tools, and identifying our purpose, need, and audience when we were planning this. So there's kind of a meta piece to this where we've done what we're having you do today.
So these are the tools we chose when we were collaborating together. Our challenge was that we were doing it from a distance. We both have families. Tashi was away at a Google conference. I was in Okanagan for a stagette. There was a lot of challenges in terms of getting together physically. So we had to get creative with it. So the first place we need to start with brainstorming. I'm a huge mind mapper, so I need a tool that really makes me feel like I can just plaster all these ideas without thinking onto one area and have somebody see them, and then I make sense of them. So we chose a tool, and also our audience was the two of us, and we're both comfortable with technology. You'll notice I don't say knowledgeable. Comfortable, those are two very different things, okay?
Devon is more knowledgeable than me.
And I don't consider myself knowledgeable at all. I honestly think I just get hired for these jobs because I'm good at hitting buttons, just figuring it out. So, and we're physically distant. So we chose Stormboard, which was actually I just Googled brainstorming software, free, was actually in there as well. And that came up, I liked it, we learned it, we went with it. And this is what it looks like. You can comment on each other's thoughts, you can plaster it, you can have access to it from multiple different sites geographically. It worked for us, okay? I'd never used it before, Tashi'd never used it before. We learned it, we mucked around with it, it worked, okay?
And I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, it worked really well, Stormboard. Jot that down. And then we also used a planning software, Slack. I won't go into it too much, but we chose those over the alternatives because they work for what we're doing. I won't go into the direct communication, but I will focus on what we chose for our collaborative presentation software. We chose Keynote, the key being, who knew? You can collaborate on Keynote from distances. So I just gave Tashi the link to the Keynote presentation, and she can muck around with it at home, and I could at my home. I didn't know that. We found that out. It worked for us. That's why we chose it over PowerPoint. We went with it instead of Prezi because, to be honest, our target audience in which we were sharing our presentation would be more comfortable, in our opinion, with PowerPoint than Prezi, right? Who here is more comfortable with PowerPoint than, say, Prezi as a presentation software?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would influence our decision. And Google Slides just wasn't as intuitive for us. Okay, so this is just an example of how we considered what was our purpose, where was our target audience, right? And then also what was the best fit. We didn't start and think Google presentation software, try to learn 20 and then make the right decision. You don't do that. Start with where you're trying to go first.
Okay. So Devon mentioned that I was at the Google Summit recently, and I'm really not a tech person. I tweet, and that's about it. I'm not technically savvy, but like Devon, I'm not afraid to play and kind of just get in there and try things. And so when I was at the Google Summit, sort of playing around with technology, this video that we're going to show you was shared, and it is amazing, an amazing example of the transformative power of technology. And I'm sure you guys are going to love it because you're educators, and it's going to speak to you. But I don't want to say too much about it, but I do want to ask that when you're watching this video and this amazing technology being used in such an interesting way, to think about what was the purpose or need that was identified, what or who is the target audience, and there may be more than one audience, and what was the tool or tools used for this, to make this amazing feat happen. So we'll let you just enjoy the video.
When we talk technology, when we talk education, there's a lot of things that happen that don't kind of give you the return that you expect. You put money out there for technologies and you're hoping to really make a change, and sometimes it does, but often it's an incremental change. And this is one of those technologies that you get huge amounts of bang for your buck. The ability to change a child's life and them to be able to connect with their own classmates in school is huge.
It was hard at first because I couldn't go to school physically, and now it's like I can go to school every day.
Once she got the hang of it, it was like a whole new world for her. Not just academically, but socially.
I signed into the double and I used the keyboard to move the robot around so I can get from class to class.
She was stuck in a room, mostly bedridden, and too feeble to come to school. So we were looking for options to be able to get her into the building and interact with students.
When I was approached about what possibilities are out there, we looked at a bunch of different solutions, and by far double was it.
The double robot ended up being the most cost-effective and easiest way for us to get the student up and rolling, so to speak.
The difference with the double is the mobility. It's the fact that she can control it herself. So if she wants to turn around, see what's going on, zoom in on the board, she has autonomy to do that. It's a very different thing for her than having somebody kind of cart her around on a laptop.
It makes me happy because I can socialize with the robot. I can interact with the teachers and the students.
They're just seeing Jasmine, and Jasmine can talk to them like a normal kid.
Before, she was just with an adult and not having those student interactions, which are really part of the education piece. They accept technology as every day. So it didn't take them long at all to get used to a robot rolling down the hallway. It was cool, it was new, and now it's part of what they do.
This sounds hyperbole, but it's changed her life. I mean, she wants to be here. She's excited to be here. She's excited to say hi to the kids in the hallway. Little things that we take for granted because we do it every day, it's huge for her. It's life-changing.
It's enabled our students to get something here from her. Anytime you add in diversity in different positions in life, it helps to increase the knowledge on this end. So it's not just been a benefit to Jasmine, it's been a benefit to our students that are interacting with her.
I see it opening many doors for many kids. Because I can imagine Jasmine's not the only homebound student that wants to go to school but can't go.
I'd highly recommend it to other schools because it has opened up a whole new avenue for us to deliver instruction to students who can't, for one reason or another, be here.
I mean, I've always told her, you might have a disability, but that doesn't define who you are as a person. And this is just one other thing that's making her realize that I can do it.
Pretty amazing, right? I want to add just two pieces of information. So Kern Kelly, who was one of the teachers speaking on there, was a keynote speaker at this presentation, and he gave us two other pieces of information that were really interesting. One, on the first day that Jasmine was using the robot, she spent 2 hours doing her hair, getting ready to be seen by her peers. And when her face flashed up on the double robot, the first student that interacted with her said, "Wow, Jasmine, your hair looks really beautiful today." The second piece is at this school they do a genius hour. So kids have 20% of their time set aside to pursue their own passion projects. And the two young girls who were sitting and the double robot was beside them, what they did for their passion project was they worked on the double robot and they actually created with a 3D printer, it's like a triangle that they've attached to the robot so that the robot can wear a t-shirt. And they added a little piece that they had created also using the 3D printer that could carry around like an internet stick so that Jasmine was able to go on field trips and out on the playground with her classmates as well. And so two of her classmates did that as their Genius Hour project. So little additional pieces of information. So we're going to get into the technology and get you guys using some of the technology with an evaluate the tool activity. So do you want to?
Yeah, sure. I haven't been in the classroom for a year, so I'm sort of jonesing for playing with people, so sorry. Everyone at each table, you're going to need at least one device. So take a second and make sure someone has, I'd recommend a computer if you have it, but any kind of tablet will do. Okay. You'll need one person who's going to be the recorder with that device. I'm going to give you a few seconds to get that sorted out. Just one for the table. And one recorder who will agree to write on that device.
We need our Google Docs people.
What's that?
We need our Google Docs people to stand up.
Good reminder, thank you. I get excited. And
No, I love it. It's great. I talked for long enough.
All right, second challenge. Did anybody have trouble finding a device and a recorder at each table? Aw, great. Second thing you're going to need at each table is someone who feels comfortable with the tool called Google Documents. So could everybody in the room who is comfortable with Google Documents stand up? Stand up, 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 up. Give everybody a big wave, hi. All right, so remain standing because we are just going to rearrange you to make sure every table has a person.
Heather, Heather, can you go to this table? Yep. Oh, Lisa, are you standing now? Okay. When I looked at you before, you were sitting. I'm sorry.
Line of the day. Lisa, are you standing? All right.
Does that table have someone?
No, we need a Google Doc person. Or your Google Docs, but this table back here.
Do you guys have someone?
You need a person?
Let's move Heather over there then.
Heather.
I know that you're good because I've worked on Google Docs with you. You come over here.
Table in the back, do we need a person back there? You're with them? Awesome. And table back here, you're good? You just sat down before I said you could ask? That's okay. All right.
Thank you, Heather.
So at this point, you should have a device, a recorder, and a Google Doc person. Are we ready for our instructions? Oh, you can sit down now, Mary. Though I admire that. Thank you. All right.
We got to get people to the Google
so what you need to do now is the person with the device, could you please go to the participant page for the conference where you've been downloading hopefully all the resources that have been used throughout the conference. So that's on the Mentoring BC website. Okay.
If you're having trouble doing that, just put your hand up and we'll come around and help. So you're going to use a color of the font that's assigned to your table. Oops.
Sorry.
That's okay. So we've assigned colors just so that you can is it that you can't hear me? Okay. Okay. Pick a different color. The color is just to differentiate the different ideas. Don't get too hung up
Yeah,
on
as
the
long as
color.
there isn't.
As a group, you can fill in the chart together. And then we just
you're
want to
running it?
invite
'Cause you
you
just need
to
one person at the table.
watch the live document
So if
grow
you want
on
to
here
go
so that you can see the power of this collaborative tool. If you're having trouble, put your hand up and Devon and I will come around.
Because you only need one recorder at the table. But in terms of choosing color,
Can I go here? And
yeah,
Green.
and then if you drop down the arrow,
in autonomous
Yes,
ways.
I did that.
I think, see,
I chose that.
can.
yeah, but then when you type, it doesn't show up.
Independence. Yeah, independence is another one too.
Well, you know what?
Just in looking at this document that's being created, if you look through the different columns, everyone's pretty well on the same page in this group. One thing that I want to point out that's really interesting is the red table. Who's our red table? I love this. Sea blue, like, you know, rather than writing it out all again, they just harness the technology. See what the blue people said, ditto, right? And that's true collaboration, right? Like, we don't need to say that again. Everyone identified the purpose or the need is to engage Jasmine as a participant, to build community, to connect the student to her classroom and the classroom back to the student, the audience being Jasmine, her parents, the classroom, the teachers, educator. I like the investors as well. The tools, everyone identified the same tools. Everyone's felt that it is working and provided evidence for that. And we have a whole bunch of suggestions of other alternative tools. And, you know, just looking at this list, and I hadn't thought about this till right now, these are probably also additional tools, right? Like Jasmine could use Stormboard to collaborate with her peers. She doesn't have to be there to be part of a cooperative learning group. She can do that and participate fully in the creation of work. So look at that, people are still going, I love it. Charlie pointed something out that in his experience, you make one of these Google documents and then no one ever does anything with it, right? And then it just kind of sits there. And that really begs the question is, what is the purpose? Our purpose was to get everybody collaborating together. I have no problem if this document just sits there now, right? I don't need you guys to access it and pull it off and print it out and do something with it. If I did, this maybe wouldn't have been the right tool choice for this activity and for us. So again, it just really comes back to thinking about the purpose.
I'll take this one.
So we want to take this one step further, and we're going to ask you to make sure that you're sitting with your district teams. If you're on your own, maybe you can join with someone else and find some common ground for this. But we want you to think of an area of mentorship in which you currently use technology. It could even just be email. Like, it doesn't have to be some grand, you know, crazy app or something like that. Anything in your district where you are using technology. And we're going to ask you to identify the purpose or need that you are trying to meet with that technology. And then we're going to ask that you think about who your target audience is, name the tools that you're using, and then evaluate them. Are those tools effective? So I have an example. In Delta, we have, I don't even know what it is really. It's like a website blog thing. It's called Delta Learns, and you can put pages up there. And I have 2 lovely pages, one for teacher mentors, one for early career teachers. And like every 3 months or so, I'm like, oh, I should post something on there. I think maybe half of the teacher mentors are signed up for it, and I've maybe got like 10 proteges signed up for theirs. Like, it's totally ineffective. It's a waste of time. It doesn't work. And so we're looking at this year using Google Classroom and setting up a Google Classroom for all of the participants. So taking a tool, looking at how you're using it, is it effective or not, and how do you know that?
And when we were setting up the mentorship program in Souk, my target audience was new teachers in terms of recruitment who wanted to be part of this program. My purpose was to ask, did you want to join, make them aware of the opportunity? So I used email. And it was not effective. All the way through the year, I never heard about that. Shouldn't you send something out about that? You just want to strangle them because you went through a min, you went through school secretaries, you went through the union, you personally sent it out, you're like, ah. So in my case, I could definitely say it was not effective, and I really needed to revisit how I was connecting with that target audience, right? So.
Yeah, Google Forms. It's Google Forms. So, yeah, the last, go back one. And then the last question is going to be, what are some alternative tools? So if email isn't working, if your web page isn't working, if Twitter isn't working, what are some alternative tools? We're going to offer you a very important tool for this task, which is paper and pen. So I'll come around with charts. For some of you, this may be the best choice. For others, you might want to set up your own Google Doc. You might want to just do it on a Word file. Maybe you want to use sticky notes. But tech isn't always the way to go. If I was doing this activity, I would want this chart. I would want paper and pen, and I would sit down with my people and we would work it out together. So we are not promoting tech for everything, and we want to be really clear on that. We're promoting choosing the right tool for the purpose you want to achieve. So I will come around with paper, work in your teams, answering these questions, and in just a second, we're going to propose a technological challenge to the group.
Awesome, go.
Okay, we'll give you guys some paper here. We'll give you guys some, are there two teams here?
The purpose was communicating with two very different target audiences, and then the target audiences obviously use different forms. If I had to do it again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please. This
Proximity. Look at that masterful.
Oh, no, it's okay. All right, before we leave you, we have two things to accomplish. One is a challenge that you may choose to engage in on your own time, but we'll present it. And the last, but certainly not least, is an opportunity for you to give feedback virtually on the day. All right? The first is the challenge, and I got carried away with the transitions. Oh, did it do it?
Didn't show up on there.
There's fireworks. I did fireworks. Maybe?
I can see the fireworks.
So anticlimactic. And there was flames. I had flames for the next one.
The flames don't show up either.
It was like, oh, shh. Anyways, your mission, should you choose to accept it without the flames or fireworks, is tweet out your purpose and audience, and I suggest just choosing one perhaps, and ask for suggestions of appropriate tools. So hopefully you have maybe heard of Twitter, are comfortable with Twitter, or you're thinking about playing with Twitter, or you know somebody who's on Twitter. But go ahead and give that a whirl. You don't have to do it right now, but just something to challenge you with. The second challenge would be to pay attention and to respond to people's tweets with ideas that might help them. So perhaps one of their purposes and audiences is making new teachers aware of the opportunities in the mentorship program. Purpose, audience. Ideas, how that might happen. What are some tools that are effective? And just make sure you use hashtag MIBC15 to tag your tweets. And that way everybody who's paying attention or following that hashtag will see what you're tweeting and can respond to it. All right? So that's a challenge for you, should you choose to accept it. It was going to be much more dramatic with the flames.
It was way better with the flames.
It's fine. Now, last but not least is, I'll put up a beginner's Twitter link on the participant page for you. So we just wanted to conclude that piece with saying, please don't forget to just play, have fun, muck around. Tashi, you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I do want to add on to it. Devon approached me about doing this session with her, and I was like, really? Because I'm not really a technologically engaged person. But The thing that's great about Devon and technology is she just likes to get in there and play, and she really, when she says she's not afraid to just push buttons, she means it. So I had not heard of Stormboard when we started this. I had not heard of Slack when we started this. I had used Keynote. I didn't know you could collaborate on it. I had used Google Docs. So I just got in there and started playing. She was like, check out this Stormboard. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm just going to start posting things on there. And really, it was just like getting in there, playing, mucking around. And it worked out fantastic. Like, we did authentically collaborate without ever meeting face-to-face to talk about the collaboration. Although we meet face-to-face to talk about other things. We really tried to do this online. And so if you're afraid of technology or frustrated by technology, we really just look at these two young boys having fun playing pirates, and that's the energy we want to bring to this. So that's our big challenge to you, and our hope for you.
And imagine possibilities. I heard opportunities. Just imagine how you can apply some of these tools. Also, if you are curious about what tools we use during this and our thought process behind them, this is available on the participant page. Go ahead and click there and you'll see a breakdown of what we used and why. And finally, your feedback is so important to all of us. I know Allison and Nancy are really looking forward to hearing back from you today, and so are we. Could you please share a highlight from today using the tool Today's Meet?
Today's Meet, yeah.
You guys are good. Awesome.
Put your nickname in.
You're good. So thank you so much for playing with Tashi and I for a little bit. That was awesome. If you have any questions, grab us after. We'll be wandering. And we're going to hand this back over to Nancy.